Warning. Warning. This is not a test. This is not a test.
Drop it.
Tonight, the top drivers of the Mystic Racing League go left and right in the state of Wisconsin. Tonight's the 92-22 Designs 180 for the Mystic Racing League and its Cup Series from iRacing's virtual Road America here on Boeing TV. I'm Justin Prince. Alongside me is Scott John, DJ Lyon, producing for tonight's coverage with cameras provided by Whiplash Sim Cams. Tonight, it's a road course race, Scott, and it should get interesting as we reach the middle portions of the schedule pretty soon. But tonight, the pressure's on for drivers to do well this evening.
It's going to be awesome. Of course, we've had a few road course races this season. We saw these guys at COTA a couple of months ago, but we're here tonight at Road America. And I actually was telling you, I've never gotten to call a race here. This track is so amazing out in Eckhart Lake, Wisconsin. Interesting, it's out in Wisconsin where you wouldn't really imagine it, but yet here we are out in the land of cheese tonight to race at Road America.
Yes, indeed. America's National Park of Speed going to be the host of tonight's action around this road course. 14 turns, 4 miles of racing action to cover across the racetrack. That's going to provide a lot of pressure. Here's a look at the standings coming into tonight. So far, Evan Janik has been the top driver in terms of point tallies. 2 wins, along with 6 stage wins, 9 total playoff points. Team ahead of Adam Holston, Alex Pollock, Isaac Wilson, Andrew Allen amongst the top 5 so far in the driver standings. And mind you, a lot of these drivers starting to see some separation when you look at just the point tally, Scott.
Yeah, definitely point separation coming into this schedule now, as we are many, many races into the season. But like you said, Janek and Holston have really taken it away. Alex Pollock, while he has yet to get a win, has been so consistent within the top 5 and top 10 all throughout the race. Meanwhile, we get guys like Andrew Schob and Zach White just outside the cut line. It's going to be important here as we continue to roll on through the season to keep up consistent finishes, because we still have quite a while until we get into any sort of playoff. We've got most of the summer.
Yeah, still a lot of time to go. Mind you, Pollock is the highest ranking driver not to get a win yet in the playoff standings as well. As these drivers currently are in the midst of group qualifying, 10 minutes of qualifying around the racetrack. Allen, one of the drivers you see on circuit in final practice earlier tonight. He was the second quickest. He was about 9/10 off Evan Janek's top time.
One thing drivers are going to want to be careful about as we watch along here with Andrew Allen is going to be areas where there is gravel. You can see right there outside of the grass, that is gravel. If you get out there, it is possible to kick it back onto the circuit. So as a driver, you're going to be watching for debris. Just saw a few drivers go across the charts and they got a little slip up in that gravel. Again, iRacing did a huge debris update in last season, and it has made racing more difficult when you get debris like that. Adam Holston out here on a flyer right now. You can see him shifting through the gears, just up over 130 miles an hour down the straightaway.
That's the predicted lap time you're seeing, by the way. That's up in the upper right-hand corner of that box. And that's based on how well they're running the lap, how they're performing. Doesn't factor in potential on-tracks in theory, but let's see just how one corner can cost John Holston 1 second. That's how much he approached that cautiously out of the Moraine sweep. That's impacting his time. Other parts of the racetrack up to the 2:13. That would put him, if he was able to stay up there, in the top 3. His times in practice were in the 2-minute 20-second bracket. So there's a lot of time to be gained in the qualifying session to get track position, especially since it's one of our smallest grids of the season, I will say, Scott. 17 drivers taking a chance tonight.
17 drivers take a chance. You'll see Andrew Allen goes up to the top of the boards with a 2-minute 13-second lap, 2 seconds faster than Christian Barnes that came across the line just a little bit earlier. But again, Adam Holston out there trying to put on his best, heading down into turn number 12. Sweeping right-hander, then into a little bit of a kink section. Gets a little bit of the dust there. He stays out of it.
See if that ends up impacting what's put on the board here, as we are now up to 6 drivers with qualifying times out of the possible 17. Holston, at least a lot of space to work with. Most draconic conditions, by the way, expecting that to be the case throughout the race today. So don't expect too much sunshine here at Road America. There's your conditions in your lower left corner of your screen. He did put up a time. It was only a 2:18.6, 2 seconds quicker than his practice times. That puts him up in the top 5, ahead of Reggie Kime and behind John Ullman for the time being.
Yeah, those weather conditions especially going to play a part in here today. You can see some sun here for the 78 of Caleb Hunt. It's a little loose there out of the corner. Again, very easy to do. You want to push these corners and make them sweeping, but this is near the end of the lap. It's a point where you can try to get every little bit you can, and sometimes that allows you to slip into a mistake. You can see him getting out wide here in the final corner, and that's that we talked about. Missed the apex a little, might have been pushing too hard.
Yeah, way wide in the final corner coming up to the Road America straight. The 2:19s in final practice. He didn't set a time this time. He was in the sand trap coming out of hurry downs. So Hunt, if he wants a chance to put up a time, will have to go again. And hope he's not like Alex Pollock right now and going the wrong way in the sand trap he just passed. So it's going to become the question, quite simply, can anybody keep up with car 71? Because Janek, last time out of the road course, he was strong, and he's at the top of the board you see right now with 2.5 seconds.
He was extremely strong. Last time we were out, he ran within the top 3 the entire race. You can see Alex Pollock here stuck in that gravel trap. He will not have enough time. He's just chilling out, waiting for the safety crew to come and get him. But he will not have enough time to make another lap, so he might as well just hang out there until the racing action begins. But like you said, Justin, Evan Janik, who can come out and beat him here tonight? 47 of David Moyer out on track. Currently the slowest of the qualifiers right now, but you can see absolutely pushing it. Gonna get way loose there. Can't believe he was able to save that race car. But you can see drivers just pushing for everything they have right now. It's so easy. I saw a lot of it when we were watching along with some of these drivers in qualifying. A lot of them so easy to push the corners and miss the apex. You have got to make your braking marks. That is going to be a key in tonight's race.
Glowing red rotors as well, just trying to stabilize the car. Get a better time if he can to close out his qualifying session. Should be just enough time, if anything, to be able to close out one more lap with the runoff time if he so chooses, or he can spin the race car and throw those chances out for good measure as Moyer puts it into the barrier. So 4 drivers yet set time. Zukov, Hunt, Derek Jewett, and Rayshawn Wingfield. All those drivers yet to put up times. Wingfield, mind you, his pace in final practice when he kept it clean was good enough to where he'd be in the top 5 if he can replicate it. The problem is he's down to under a minute to go on the board.
Well, qualifying is going to be extremely important here tonight because we will see only local cautions, which means no full course cautions. It is possible, but extremely unlikely in iRacing conditions. So that 23 of Wingfield going to see. Let's see if he can get down to the stripe this time, and he's going to send it hard into the tire barriers, and that's going to do it for him. No lap for Wingfield.
Frustration maybe popping in there as we're down to about 20 seconds with it being open qualifying. There should also be some runoff time added on to Allen. Off track, that ends his qualifying into the barrier. That leaves only a couple drivers on the racetrack right now. Caleb Hunt, Reggie Kime, as well as Aaron Espy, Stephen Gill, and David Moyer. Everybody else already done their qualifying. Checker flag waves. The runoff about 3 minutes with the size of this racetrack to finish whatever laps they are on here. So overall, what are your expectations for a road race like this tonight, knowing road racing plenty of challenges, a lot of marbles kicked up on the racetrack, and a lot of attrition, the potential too with the stages to factor in of some strategy with stages going up to lap 12 and 27.
Well, and those stages will be absolutely key for drivers tonight because that will give the field a chance to bunch up. But tonight, it's truly going to be about making consistent laps. If you can put down a 2:15 or a 2:17, that's pretty good. But if you're pushing to the absolute limit every lap to do that, it is so close you might force yourself into a mistake. It might be wiser to maybe run a 2:18 or a 2:19 that you absolutely know you're not going to slip up on, because I can guarantee you there will be drivers that are pushing every single lap, and I can guarantee you that a lot of them will make a mistake, maybe end up in the gravel, and that is you're going to lose way much more time doing that than you would have been if you were just a little bit more conservative. Like you said, those stages are going to come into play. Get all you can on the start and each restart after that, because gaining positions right then will be the absolute easiest. Again, that being said, it's going to be very easy to make a mistake while doing that. So I think it goes for show in every race that we do, minimize mistakes.
Minimize mistakes going to be so important for these competitors tonight. We'll have to keep an eye on how these drivers race it out. As you take a look at a couple of the camera viewpoints, John Ullman in his thinking mode at the moment, just contemplating things. As you also have Pollock, who is still in the nether realm, in the other box. Keep in mind, when it comes to John Ullman, about mid-pack in the qualifying session, 7th best in the 2:17s, on par for what he did in final practice. The rest of the drivers that are finishing up their lap times, by the way, on the racetrack, Richie Kime just bumped John Ullman back. Also on the racetrack, 3rd spot right now, Christian Barnes. Will he be able to put up any time here? Did not notice if he had gotten back on the racetrack in time or not. taking around for another circle. We'll see what he does at the stripe of the checkered flag. And no time put up, so no change.
No change for him.
Take a quick break. Qualifying just about complete. We'll look at the grid on the other side of this quick break.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Oh. No cautions for the stage.
Welcome back, everyone, to Road America for more coverage of the Mystic Racing League. Let's take a look at how they'll start tonight. Evan Janik, the favorite for the race, starts on the pole, setting the pole time 2 seconds quicker than most. But Andrew Allen did close up within 3/10 to get into the session. He'll start in second spot. Row number 2 features Christian Barnes. Jackson Atala will start in 4th position, 4 seconds off the pole. Aaron Espy starts in 5th tonight. Ronnie Foster will start in P number 6. Then it's Reggie Kyman 7th. Inside him will be John Ullman. Next row, that will feature Alex Pollock, and Adam Holston rounds out your top 10, Scott.
In 11th, it'll be the 01 of Stephen Gill, and then Jared Kopsnyder to the outside. 13th will be the 47 of David Moore, your final qualifier. Then the 23, Rayshawn Wingfield in 14th. 15th and 16th, it'll be Jarrett Jewett, and then it'll be Caleb Hunt in his number 78 machine. Your final and 17th driver of the night is Alan Zukoff. 17 make the field tonight. And I want to correct myself real quick, JP. There will be no cautions at the stage breaks, so this will probably be our only start where everybody is bunched together.
Going to make things very interesting on how these drivers approach things, to say the very least now. We already talked about some of the potential keys for this race. We've seen some good performances from the 71, but as we look at the race analysis one more time, who are you keeping it out for outside of Evan Janik?
Yeah, if we're talking outside of Evan Janik, I love Christian Barnes and Jackson Autala. Autala came in midway through the season and joined up, and he has been pretty darn good ever since. Obviously, don't know if he'll be able to fight for those championship standings since he joined so late, but he has been a very decent driver at every discipline that we've gone to. Christian Barnes as well has had great finishes all season long, looking very well in the top 10 in points. So the 27 is another driver I seek to look at, and they're both starting well 3rd and 4th.
By the way, Inigo penalty, Rayshawn Wingfield tonight. Send him to the back of the field. So the field makes its way around the racetrack for the full pace lap to break things down again. Best passing opportunities tonight. Rain sweep coming out of turn 5. You also have the run through Canada Corner and, of course, the Road America Straight. Going to be those prime passing opportunities throughout the night tonight.
Yeah, this run down in our quote-unquote first back straightaway. I don't know if you'd call it the middle straightaway maybe, but down here you go through, this is Sargento Cheese Tunnel. You'll get down an excellent passing opportunity. Again, another opportunity though to make mistakes. You want to find your braking markers. That's so important when we come to road courses, especially here like Road America with a lot of deep, heavy braking zones. You'll see those numbers on the right-hand side. A bit of a check for drivers there. Say, hey, I want to brake at the 3 mark, or I want to brake at the 2 mark. The 2 mark might be a little bit late. If you're braking there, you might be a bit in trouble.
The all smiles for Alex Pollock, by the way, once again. Just continuously getting his sponsor time. After all, he is the sponsor of the race tonight. Second race he sponsored, and also he sponsors some of the series action in general when it comes to Mystic Racing League.
Great for Alex Pollock to always get to do that. He's always representing well for the 92-22 Designs 180 here today in Road America. We saw him, he got to sponsor the Talladega race and has done and many more. And that, I gotta say, that is a great paint scheme.
I mean, he is a designer. Trying to be very creative. Looks like he based it on broken glass this evening, as Evan Janik is going to be intriguing to see what he can do here tonight, especially with what was discussed, as you said, in race control for the drivers' meeting tonight. Janik, he was very strong the last road course we did.
He really was. Goes out here, gets the pole, and again, the question is, I like that Andrew Allen is right there. I think he's going to be another one of those challengers. Those, really the top four, the top three, second through fourth, excuse me, are going to be ones that I believe can challenge Janik if they're consistent over time. But I think if Janik is able to go up there and put down consistent laps and not make a mistake, then this is his race to lose.
Get all set to go to fire things off here tonight. Again, happy with us here on Boeing TV as we get set to go racing for about 108 miles, 45 laps, your distance. Once more for this one. Again, our first road course race since we went to COTA back on February the 28th. Janik trying to go back to back, picking up the win at Texas last date out. All set to go racing. The pace car is off. 71 in control of the 96 will start alongside. Marty with the green in hand. Green flag is out. We're underway from Wisconsin. And a good start for the top two as Allen can't keep it alongside. That moves Janik to the race lead single file as the top two check out.
Big moment for Christian Barnes. He got way loose, pushing it on the exit of turn number one. Almost lost it in that turn. Able to get it on straight. Everybody's trying to single file out. You see Adam Holston still side by side with Ullman down here into turn number three. Holston will cycle it out. Meanwhile, Janik all alone out front.
Outside, Pollock trying to outdrive and outbrake competitors. He goes to the sand and all the marbles. Ullman with some issues as he gets turned around. Now Ullman the wrong way around as Moyer goes wide to the grass.
Yeah, Ullman gonna get punted there by the 01 of Stephen Gill. You saw some drivers go a bit out wide. Another one gonna go into the gravel. They're missing the short chute in turn number 5.
That's Caleb Hunt way off the racetrack approaching Hurry Downs. And now there's absolute chaos for some of the drivers mid-pack. Nomstadter getting caught up in the grass. Now he's in the sand. Right side tires kicked off into the grass, and it carries him all the way to the barrier.
That's what we talked about. Missing your braking points is going to put you in a way worse position than if you're conservative. Rayshon Wingfield has already made up 4, well, I guess as he started the back, he's made up now 6 positions from the back of this field, just not making mistakes and staying in it. Alex Pollock down the back straightaway now. You can see it carrying so much speed. Don't miss your braking point. We've seen a lot of it already.
Yeah, some chaos starting to reign supreme here was what's going on across the racetrack. Now we're getting shuffling around with Holston as here's a look why. Reggie Kime just in front of them, coming towards the final corner as Holston backs out of it.
Autala did not get the best start. He's already lost 3 spots. Meanwhile, Adam Holston continuing to try to move forward. You saw Reggie Kime, a little bit of a moment there out of the penultimate and final corner. Up the hill, you don't want to lose momentum there. You want to keep it up as long as you can because you'll see this has given Autala a run. He'll look to the inside here to late break into turn number 1. both blade on the brakes. Reggie Kime moves in. You can see lots of lockups. Big lockup. That's Ronnie Foster.
Trouble's there for a split second, but we look now from the battle cam. The 09 taking a peek, elects to stay in line once again as Reggie Kime doesn't get the good corner exit. Big boost for Jackson Ottawa to take away that spot. Moves him back into the top 5. So far, so good for most people, outside of a couple drivers here in these opening lap and a quarter or so corners. As there goes Holston trying to get a good run.
Holston dips it off through the grass, trying to get to the outside of Kime. How will he attack the short shoot here? Kime will be very conservative there. Lets Holston go on the outside. And look at the debris here left from your driver of Caleb Hunt, who went through the gravel earlier. That's something you got to be careful of, especially through the center of the turn.
They're gonna have to be very careful with the grip in those sections way over here. That's almost like driving on a gravel road at that part of the racetrack to the carousel.
Well, and it's so difficult through the carousel because so much of your weight is on that left rear. Your car is just so off balance. So easy to make a mistake there, trying to carry all that speed all throughout the carousel here.
Opens up the door for Aaron Espy. Able to slip around. Espy now up to the 4th position. Just about 2 laps through the action so far. Espy able to jump up 1 spot there. So, all of this as well. Guess what? Your race leader's gone. Janik was a contender, and he's showing why.
Yeah, out by 2 and almost a half seconds now down into turn number 1. But don't worry, Andrew Allen is still there. Christian Barnes is about 7 seconds back from them. So the top 2 are really far gone from the rest of the field. Janik trying to get a little bit of pace on Andrew Allen now. But again, Allen not going anywhere. It's down to 2 seconds now. So I think that gap is varying a little bit between these 2 drivers. So Andrew Allen right now looks to be the candidate to try to keep up with Janik all night long.
Yeah, he's got the pace at least to be up front now. The problem is going to be trying to maintain it consistently. That seems to be the case right now when talking about this pace. 2:12.7 last time for Allen, 2:12.1 for Janik. As Allen just about goes wide for good measure.
And that's one thing, gotta be conservative. You make a mistake like that, your night could be over. John Ullman trying to come back after an early spin from the 01 of Stephen Gill down in this very corner in turn number 3. Ullman clean on the brakes. You'll see Ronnie Foster here running at a great spot right now. He lost a few positions though. He qualified much better than he's running.
So far, seen a lot of people rise through. That's the 91 off. Zukov having some issues. And now back on the racetrack after a bit of off-track excursioning once again.
Well, speaking of off-track excursions, we had more. We had some from the 8 of Adam Holston and the 9 of Reggie Kime. You'll see, watch along with the 91. Great corner there in turn 3, getting the apex, but here the short shoot is so dangerous and treacherous. It's over the hill, you can lose it, and you can see just locks up the rears, and that gets him loose and can't complete the braking zone.
Still holding on now, 13th position on the racetrack as they turn. By the way, we've had already one driver tow their car. Caleb Hunt is already in pit lane. Also, Knopfsnyder has come down at least once. 2 different drivers had to come down for at least a reason here in this race. There is a faster pair if necessary. So some of these drivers already in position where they have to use it. We're not even done lap 4 yet.
You saw Knopfsnyder earlier got heavy into those tire barriers, probably had some wheel damage as well as some aero damage. He elected to come in, take that one fast repair that he had. But look at this. Oh my goodness, big mistake by Hautala there. It opens the door for Winkfield and Pollock, but Pollock is going to get slow off of that corner, so they're going to be side by side here.
Pollock trying to stick to the inside of the racetrack as Holston trying to take a shot to the outside. keep it alongside as the top drivers in this pack run away, and SB and Wingfield with how things shuffle there. And
Well, and Wingfield, he started back in 16th. He's up to 5th, now maybe 4th.
yeah, impressive for Wingfield after the EOL penalty. He got to start this race. Right now, his pace for compared to the leaders, still 4 seconds off the main pace, but faster by far than all the cars he had to pass to get up to 4th position in this choo-choo train. Just received word, Caleb Hunt's reason he just now parked it for the night is hardware issues, no brakes. Wakefield into the sand, loses all the spots he just gained, and makes contact with Pollock.
There's his first mistake. Pollock somehow able to make the save, even over all of the gravel that he just ran through. I think the only 2 drivers that haven't made, 3 drivers that haven't slipped up tonight are your top 3 of Janik, Allen, and Barnes. But this fight all through 4th to 9th is absolutely excellent. All these drivers all right here together.
They're still not done battling a little bit here, just continuously trying to just have fun with the carrot on the stick method. As SB opens the door, Huntella not able to jump through. Huntella just elects to stay in line as Holston is forced to check up a little bit. That's the tough thing right now with some of these drivers, different pace, different ways of getting around the racetrack. These drivers are trying to almost tiptoe around to make sure they don't run over each other.
Well, when you got 5 cars under a blanket at Road America, that's what you have to do. Adam Olsen here now goes to the outside of Hautala. Hautala was trying to work to the inside of SB, but it shortened up his run out of the final corner. Big lockup for Alex Pollock. That's going to send him straight. He's in the gravel. He's sideways. Meanwhile, Adam Holston and Hautala still right next to each other. Somehow Pollock was able to keep it from going around.
Yet again, a save for the 92. Kai moving up. Holston getting loose. Already slipping by the 09 down that previous straightaway. Now the FSR entry tries to head on in front of the FLM car that has better momentum. Looks like he indeed will have some wheel hop as he prefers to really take that corner wide. Trying to get a run. Wakefield takes the 3-1 and passes the both.
You can see how Hautala there just shot it in a little bit too deep, and so did Holston. They were both slow. Meanwhile, SB is now off right in front of Wakefield. It's going to open the door for him into the carousel.
Everybody making mistakes on the racetrack. No incident limit, by the way, in this series for this race tonight. So no one's at risk of a DQ, but everybody's burning some off tracks here as Wakefield to the inside of SB in the carousel.
Wingfield now to the inside. He's going to have that shorter line. He's going to be able to get around nice and easy here in that number 23. So he is officially back to 4th. And meanwhile, SB leaves the door open way wide. He's going to let Holston through. I think he got loose on some of that extra gravel.
Tal almost thought about jumping to the open door. And how would you describe the need to pick and choose your spots in a race like this? Because most of these drivers know you can't just force it on by in these situations. And now we're also seeing drivers make their own mistakes like Holston to add to the pressure.
Holston goes off yet again. Look at all that gravel from this back cam shot of Hautala. But like you said about choosing moments, this is one of those moments here in the back section. This final corner, so important that you get a good run off. This front straightaway is so long, carrying that momentum all the way down up this hill and into turn 1 is so key. You could see Hautala swung it out all the way wide to the right, got great momentum, and he's able to pull in front of SB because of it. Last time around, we saw him short shoot that, and he didn't have the speed. Holston was able to get to the inside. Now a big shot by SB. That's going to send him into the dirt, and Hautala goes through. That's another spot of picking your moments.
Trying to cross him up on the late break. Instead, plays himself. There's a chance for a while now for that spot. Pollock, by the way, has already found his way past Reggie Kime, who's made some mistakes. Now, Pollock is the next in line to try and battle with the 8 machine. This grouping all together here has been a bundle of energy, you could almost put it like, Scott. already 5 laps complete, and these drivers are stuck together like glue.
Well, and it's all that pressure. There goes SB again, way off into the grass. He's going to make contact with the wall, and around goes Pollock.
Wrong way around. That's a bad spot to be turned around. He flips it around with no one else nearby, losing all the time again as Hatawa has gone off. There's Reggie Kime as he tries to regain some spots here. Everybody making major mistakes in this pack. There's the 09. He's lost a spot now to the 8.
Well, and Justin, I think the reason we're seeing that is because we had that pack right there of 5 or so cars all within about a second and a half of each other, and I think we saw so many of those mistakes because there was so much pressure from behind. You had to defend, you had to take a defensive line, and so you weren't quite as focused on exactly where you were braking, or your eyes weren't always out in front of the windshield, and because of that, mistakes were made. You overshoot the corner, step it out wide, trying to get good speed off the exit. I think that's why we saw so many of those incidents compounded, just because all those drivers were so close. Now that they're a bit more spread out, we might not see quite as much of that. Drivers might be able to quote-unquote lock in and make all those braking points and not take so many off-track excursions.
Well, you say that, but anybody can find a chance to go on the off track. First time we found Ronnie Foster on the racetrack, and Ronnie Foster making the choice tonight of running with no numbers on that machine. Yes, that's an all-black race car for Foster. And he, so far, has quietly just been trying to mind his own business after starting in 6th spot.
Yeah, lost a few spots on the initial start, but ever since then, he's been pretty clean. Hasn't run the fastest lap times. He's been running about 2:18s, 2:19s, but again, consistency will get you a way better place tonight than pushing if you cannot hold it. We've seen so many of those off-track incidents. You know, if Ronnie Foster can put down consistent times, then he might jump some of these guys who might be pushing it a little too hard.
Also good recovery for John Oman after his early off tracks. He's now joined in on the battling yet again after we've seen him trying to shuffle from some of the top 5 spots a little while ago. So far so good for the Slim Chickens machine. Now make some slim pickings on by Foster. Make it look easy if he can.
I think I want to say that Janik might have made a mistake here, because earlier I saw, or maybe it was Andrew Allen, because Andrew Allen was about 4 or so seconds back behind Janik, and now he's 12 seconds behind, and Christian Barnes has very much closed up the gap that was between them two. So I think while we were watching here all the fights in the mid-pack, Andrew Allen might have had his own mistake. But like you said about John Ullman, a good recovery from that initial spin after the contact he got from the 01 of Gill. And he's been keeping it clean ever since right here, right inside of the top 10.
Good point, State. That's got to be the main focal point for a race like this. That's why the attendance is so good, to be able to think about the big picture for a night like tonight. There's a look at Gill. He's right now running 13th. Picked up a fair bit of damage to the car, trying to battle with Zukov last time by. They were both in the 220s as Gill tries to send it from 5 car lengths back. Somehow gets it to work with Zukov letting him go.
As Zukov just going to let him go there. Not a bad move. Picked his moment to say, hey, I might get you back later on. So they're going to continue to fight here. Alan Zukov in that 91. Going to try to set up this final corner and get great momentum. Looks like he will have some good momentum, but loses it there. You can see just had a little bit of a sideways moment, and that's all it's going to do here for the front straightaway. You'll lose that momentum, and then you cannot keep up.
On the way, for those wondering what Christian Barnes doing, well, he's driving on his own in 3rd spot. So far, the Caleb Hunt Racing Machine doing exactly what he needs to do to have a great point stay. One of the better races for Barnes this season on consistency.
Yeah, he's had some trouble here and there. He's had good finishes, and he's had places where he's DNF before, not always of his own mistake. Big off-track moment for Alan Zukov now. He goes spinning into the grass. He was just fighting with Stephen Gill, and back out of turn number 3, he's going to go around.
Well, this adds to the bad issues now for the 91. Let's take a look at the replay machine.
This
See
was
what
through turn
happened.
2. Oh, I can't believe he kept it off the wall.
Can't tell if he just carried too much speed corner exit or might have hit me with the curbing. Yeah, just carried too much speed.
Yeah, and I think that curb was the final thing. That little bit of a loss of grip was just enough to be the final ticker to get him around.
Right now, Zukov, the second to last car running, still on the racetrack. As time progresses, Gopsnyder so far is the last of those running after a 6-minute tow. As Janik, not afraid to use all the runoff space with the no incident limit here tonight. 12 seconds, still the gap between first and second. He's making mistakes like you see there, but so far the FSR machine has done enough to maintain the lead over Allen.
Yeah, he's up just under 11 seconds ahead. Andrew Allen here still running second. And again, I think he had some sort of moment while we were way in the mid-pack, but he was 6 seconds ahead of Christian Barnes, but now he is 9 seconds ahead of Barnes, continually to run about 2:13 second laps, and Christian Barnes is only running 2-minute 15 second laps, so a bit of a 2-second difference there between them. But I cannot believe the amount of gravel that is on this track.
The amount of marble buildup is outright ridiculous. It's almost like snow if you compare
really
it to the
is.
grass. Yeah, that's just how much these drivers are going off track. It is absurd. And with the new debris system here, that's not going to be self-cleaning in this case like you may see on an oval.
No, it will not. It will be there all night long. And so drivers will have to make sure to stay away from it. Winkfield here running in fourth, and I just can't say enough about his run. Obviously, we did see a few mistakes from him, but not as plentiful as others. He started back in 16th and has made his way up to fourth. Now, I will say, he's 32 seconds back from third place.
Yeah, he's doing a solid job doing what he needs to do. There is a closing car, though. Makes any more mistakes, the 09 is back in contention to try and push for the spot. Last time by, in fact, Jackson Tower was about 2 seconds quicker than Winkfield. He's been putting on some good pace to close up the gap to the Toyota in front.
Hautala, again, you saw a few mistakes from him early on. He started up in fourth, but he's back to fifth. He got away from the pack. He got away from that squabble of mess that we saw. Now through the final corner, wants to carry that momentum to try to get past the 23 of Winkfield. You can see he does have great momentum. He's going to pull alongside the 23. They'll go side by side down into turn number 1. Who will be the best of the late breakers? Looks like Winkfield's going to break just a little bit later. He'll sweep from the outside, but Hautala's going to bring it back there just for a moment. Almost got side by side, but Winkfield was able to carry that momentum and keep his position.
Holding on for now, but the thing is, Winkfield struggling corner exit. Tala with a good back up of the corner to build up the run for the brain sweep. Will we go for the pass? Already defensive for Winkfield. Tala nearly followed his racing line. As Winkfield tries to park it. Hatawa way outside, trying to break to his right.
Oh man, I can't believe they both didn't go off there. They both braked way later than they normally do up through the corner, and Hautala just barely snipped those right sides onto the gravel. So he's going to lose a little bit of time there. He's going to have to regain it.
Take about a lap or two, probably 3, to really get up there with the way the track works. By the way, we're coming up to 2 laps to go in the stage. That's how quickly this stage is gone. In fact, Janik has already taken the 2 to go mark, technically for stage 1. Remember, racing up to lap 12's end of. Janik on his way to adding more playoff points. So far this season, 9 total playoff points That's the highest out of anybody this season.
We just missed it. It's a huge moment for Wingfield. He went off track and kept it in the gas and was able to block Hautala down the back corkscrew straightaway. Oh my goodness. I've never seen something like that.
He does not want to give up. Talk
No,
us
watch
through what
this.
you see.
We'll watch this. We'll keep watching on in this lap, but Wingfield running just about a second on from the 09 of a Jackson Hautala, and we'll get on. It's later down the back straightaway. He gets off track, off the left, just swings it wide. You said struggling with corner exit, and we'll see him just get off track and just keep it in the gas, and he was able to block Hautala. It's down here later, right here. He gets out down this next corner. He's just going to push it a little fast. He gets out in the grass and just keeps it in the gas, bounces off the wall, and here comes Hautala. He's just going to park it right in front of him.
Doesn't give up the spot. It ends up staying there. As, by the way, Wingfield has come down to pit.
Interesting call.
He is taking tires here. They didn't close pit road, by the way, for it being the final laps of the stage here. So we keep on racing around. Janik continuing on his merry way, by the way, in this one. Coming up to start lap 12, this time by. Coming around towards the final lap of the stage.
Well, and I imagine we saw Wingfield come in there because, again, like you said, Justin, we were struggling with corner exit. Maybe it lost a little grip in those rears more than he would have wanted to. Decided to take an early pit stop and split this into a two-stop race for himself, and that's something that we haven't really gotten to talk about yet. I think most drivers will probably only pit once.
There is a fuel restriction too to keep in mind that might impact.
There we go.
things. Yeah, 72% is the fuel limit.
Oh, then they'll
So-
definitely all be two-stoppers if that's the case.
Yes. So it's not a full tank, and this is a massive track.
It
Have
really
to make
is.
it.
4 miles. I mean, that is the longest track we'll go to all year long. So much land here out at Road America that these drivers will cover. Most of it on pavement, but I think a lot of them have taken some off pavement.
You see how much fast space there is here around the racetrack. When the Cup Series ran here in real life, 100,000 plus fans were able to migrate their way here to Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. This historic racetrack, putting plenty of action over the years since hosting racing during the street days, 1940s and 50s. This facility, of course, opening in 1955, 69 years of racing in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. But Janik just has half a lap to go to close out another playoff point to get stage 1 in the books here.
Yeah, because he really needed some more. Leading at the top of the standings, Janik has just really been so consistent in that AMSOIL 71, mostly all season long. I think we saw a little bit of the struggle for him right at the opening of the gate when we started this season here in the Mystic Racing League. But really, I would say probably COTA was one of those big turning points where since then we have really seen him just on another level compared to everyone else.
Your winner in stage 1, 71, Evan Janik closes out lap 12. Dominating fashion, Evan Janik gets green-white checkered as we continue on into stage number 2. Second spot, way far bit back, Andrew Allen. We score points to the top 5, so that would put Christian Barnes in that position in the 3rd spot. He's in our full Road America straight back. And then you have to go all the way back to the middle of sector 3 to the next car. There goes Barnes. Hautala is all the way in Canada corner for the 4th position.
Yeah, looking here with Hautala, Canada corner, back near the end of the circuit. Love this little kink here. It's just such a beautiful section of the racetrack in the final turns 12, 13, and 14. And this final corner So interesting. You set it up wide, then you cut. It's a late apex. Carry it out wide off the left to carry all that momentum up the hill. About 100-foot elevation change here.
Now up gets that spot, Adam Holston. In the midst of the top 5, rounds out top 5. Take a quick step aside. Stage 2, rolling through from Road America.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Bowling TV's coverage of the Mystic Racing League as we continue on from Road America. Tonight, the 92-22 Designs 180 at Road America. As we continue on in what has been a clean run so far. Pit stops are underway for some. Now amongst those the pit road. Christian Barnes is already completed 4-tire service. And this is already how his run out of pit road's gone. That was not a great exit out of the pit road.
Cold tires, you gotta make note of when you come out of the pits. Those tires are not gonna be as hot as they were. Let's take a look back here. Christian Barnes leaving the pit lane, right sides drop. He's gonna get out of the box as quick as possible, but right here, it's gonna be on the change of gear. He's just gonna lose it. Starts going off to the right. He does make contact with the right front here into the wall. That's gonna be some wheel damage. That was heavy contact.
Ends up drifting to the sand for good measure. So Chaos reigns supreme on his pit exit. Your race leader Janika's in, so your answer on where the fuel mileage lies is pretty quite simple. It's going to be very interesting where the mileage goes for the end of the stage, because if they can only make it a 14-15 laps for many of these drivers, it's going to be borderline for the end of stage 2, right on the fuel number.
Yeah, Janik should definitely make it. Anyone that's pitting about this moment, Andrew Allen in right now as well, they should be able to make it. They both made it about 15 laps on that stint for them. Other drivers have made it about 12 or 13 or so, around that number. You'll see Janik here getting out of pit stall number 1. He's going to get away clean up through the gears. No mistakes for your leader, Evan Janik.
Old serve, no issue. Allen completes his service. Ends up being 4/10 slower in the box. He's actually picked up some damage as the race has gone on too, for good measure, to the left front fender. That seemed to be hurting him though, as that leave just Holston, Kime, Pollock, and Zukov yet to take their pit service for the start of stage 2 essentially.
I've also got some bad news, Justin. Our man that was on a mission, Rayshun Wingfield, is 4 laps down and out of this race, where we have not gotten any word as to why, but he has bowed out of this one after running up in the top 5 when he started back at the back of the pack.
Second DNF confirmed for this race. Ronnie Foster's also been in pit road for about 2 minutes now. So something going on to the 6 machine. So we have one off track at minimum. On top of it, Reggie Kime making the slow roll down the pit lane. Looks like pit party time for just about the entire field to be able to get things rolling on the fuel mark. So that leaves the question how stage 2 now fares out. A lot of those battle packs, Scott, have faded away, so to speak. They have really separated out. There's look at Polk again.
Yeah, I was really enjoying our battle pack that we had all from 5th to 9th, and it was so great while we had it, but I think you and I both knew that it probably wasn't going to last. We were going to have drivers able to spread out and get away from each other. Alex Pollock doing a pretty decent job now, has been able to minimize his mistakes in number 92. He is running in 7th, and I believe he'll be promoted to 6th once we get our only driver that is yet to pit into the lane, and that is Adam Holston.
Could see that pretty soon. Zukov also yet to complete his service, but he is, of course, one of the drivers just about a lap down in this race. Holston doing a great job stretching out the fuel mileage. Have to give credit for how things have looked so far for the 8 machine. Where he cycles will likely still be amongst the top 6 or so. We'll have to keep an eye on what he does this time by.
Well, and I'll have to tell you more sad news, that extended time in the pit lane that you mentioned for Ronnie Foster. He could not overcome it. He has also left this session, so your 3rd DNF of the day.
Holston is in. He'll join pit lane for service as we see Aaron Espy. Espy, after starting strong, after mistake after mistake after mistakes, he's now on back to the 9th position after all the mistake by 1,000 paper cut situations that's built up here.
It really has been the game and the theme of the night for a lot of these drivers. And Espy, like you said, did have a lot of those issues. He's been able to reel it back in, currently running in 9th on the track right now. Adam Holston, again, your last driver to come into the lane this time, gets those lefts, now getting his rights. The jack drops and he will get out with a 14.9 second pit stop. So a good pit stop for his crew. Reggie Kime in the number 9, currently running in 6th. He's going to try to get around Holston here on the exit of the lane. I don't think he'll be able to collect that 5th position.
So Holston will indeed remain in the top 5, where he cycles on pit road, and his strategy, that leaves just the lap car Zukov yet to complete his service around the vast Road America. It's beautiful scenery around this racetrack. Of note, see in a moment, the sunshine has actually kicked on through. Said before, we're expecting mostly cloudy conditions. Well, we've gotten into the sunny part, the mostly cloudy skies on the racetrack. Good news, everybody. The sand has all evaporated. It has been destroyed by aliens. So we are back to normal conditions.
Back to normal conditions here for these drivers, at least from our point of views. We haven't seen too many. David Moyer going off track there in the number 47. He is a lap down, though, in comparison to the 9 of Reggie Kime. So Moyer really trying to scoot out of the way as not to hold up the 9. Again, Reggie Kime running in the 6th, just about 9 seconds back from Adam Holston.
Yes, indeed. So a calm race here around Road America as time continues to tick away. It's only 6-7 seconds now, that lead. Allen's still matching the times of your race leaders, so anytime the 71's mistakes start to pop up now, they can really get ever more hyper extended here. Allen's doing a great job on the fresher tires. He set his fastest lap of the race last time by.
Yeah, 212.361 his fastest lap that last time by. That's just a tiny bit faster than the 71 of Evan Janik. Anyone else is running 7 seconds or so slower on the track in terms of lap times around this time. So really Andrew Allen pretty much close in the punching fight with Evan Janik. The question is, can he make up that 7-second decibit? Because I don't know, Justin.
Yeah, that's going to take consistent effort to gain. He's lost ground this time by, mind you. So it's still a lengthy time for these drivers to race around here to get to the end of lap 27. Again, we are to the end of lap 27 for the stage. We are 11 laps away from the mark. New fastest lap in response, Janik putting up qualifying laps as Pollock runs 7th.
Alex Pollock, you can see him just heating up the brakes there. We've seen so many front rotors absolutely glowing. This is the 01. This is Stephen Gill. He has just gone up a lap down, running consistent times of 2-minute 21-second laps, but he has cracked the top 10 here for the first time tonight.
By the way, happy birthday to the driver of the 01. Stephen Gill celebrating a birthday here today. Running decently in the top 10, looking to spend the birthday finishing the race on the racetrack.
He's got a good opportunity to do it. Alan Zukov, his closest competitor, is 50 seconds back. So I think Stephen Gill has a bit of a margin for error that he can have and stay in front of that 91 of Zukov. You can see a lot of this back of the field pretty spread out, but I want to say it right now. Alex Pollock, Reggie Kime, John Ullman, Aaron Espy, all of those drivers within 3 seconds of each other in terms of their intervals. So we could have a possible new battle pack.
As the info box tells you, yes, it's a potential possibility. It's about wishful thinking to be able to close things up. And could get interesting because Zukov is to the right side of the racetrack running slow. Lets him on go. Well, no, he's got Reggie Kime, and oh no! Downshifts into the wall. Zukov right into Reggie Kime. Wishful thinking doesn't work.
Oh my goodness, and I don't know if Reggie Kime wasn't looking, but you got to imagine the 91 there is going to slam into the wall and come right back on track.
Yeah, just had issues in the last corner, I believe. That's why it was so slow in the first place, and then just over revs it, wheel hops it, and bye-bye.
Yeah, heavy contact here with the inside wall, right back onto the track, and I don't know if I'm Reggie Kime there. I'm checking up heavy to go to the inside. This is the initial spin. It looks like, I don't know if he just, oh wow, he had quite a few problems there on the front straightaway.
And oh my goodness, that was on him, Holston, nearly T-boned him as he backed up across the racetrack and nearly backed up into pit road. Zukov is lucky.
Should have kept it.
Yeah, that was, wow.
Well, you can see it, just a bit of a mistake there from the 91 of Zukov, and yeah, just trying to get back up to the gears. Looks like he downshifted instead of upshifting.
Too many downshifts of anything.
Yeah.
Outright smokes the 9 machine. No meatball flag for Reggie Kime, but Kime did lose a ton of time from that.
Yeah, really did. He was running in 6th. Now he lost spots to Pollock, Ullman, and Espy. He's running back now in 9th.
Zukov is now 2 laps down in this race, by the way. So, continue on. Here's John Ullman. Right now, he's got Aaron Espy in the popcorn seat to close up. Can Espy find a way to pop ahead here as the 34 tries to maintain itself up front still? 1.5 seconds up the road from Espy.
Espy, again, trying to recover from some of those earlier mistakes, and John Ullman really hasn't set a toe out of line ever since the initial lap 1 incident for him. Great run here through turn 1, downhill into turn number 2. And there's a bit of a kink always in this straightaway. You want to carry good momentum here off of turn number 2, go down the long back straightaway.
See the vast space in front, no one else in front for the time being. And if he makes mistakes, there's definitely going to be someone right on this back bumper as the clouds reform over parts of the racetrack. No issue on the corner exit. He's dealing with damage, mind you, to that front nose. They are also at risk of getting lapped because Evan Janik is also approaching the battle pack here too.
So a couple of drivers forming up together. Evan Janik gonna have to try to find a way through, and you imagine a lot of drivers will let him through, but you never know. Aaron Espy here will want to maybe try to stay on the lead lap. Again, there's not too much reason for it. We're really not going to get a caution. There's no wave around, no lucky dog because of those really no cautions. So gotta imagine that most drivers will just let Janik through, but this might be a little bit of a moment that Andrew Allen could make up some time. But I don't think it's gonna give him much doing because Allen is now 14 seconds back from your leader instead of 7 when we last checked on it.
Just how the differences you see on the screen. The braking zone, a lot more time being gained up in that section every time they go through that section. So, continue on with the action as there goes the race leader Janik, right on by Espy. That laps him up to 8th. Ullman will put him to 7th spot. How things go. So, couple scheduling things to talk about when it comes to heading into next week, by the way. It was discussed about a couple weeks ago by race officials. That date you've seen with Eldora on the schedule. Oh, hold on. Espy nearly got the leader. He's in the tires.
Oh my goodness. Way overshot turn number 1 and almost took out your leader of Janik.
That was a bit scary for your race leader after a dominating run all race. Espy misses the braking mark and nearly cleans out the leader.
See the leader already on the brakes, and wow, Espy wasn't on him for a long time.
We're sailing into the tire barrier. Cost some magnitude of time on the racetrack. Ullman just got lapped, by the way. Not as big of an issue, although he did hold up Janik for just a touch bit before he let him on go. So, I was about to say that a race date at Eldora is now Chicagoland, Scott. So a bit of a change there for that race next Friday instead of being on the dirt after that being discussed with the race administration as well. The date at Mugello in Italy is now the Daytona road course instead in June.
Man, I was getting excited for that race on the dirt, but we'll go to Chicagoland.
I mean, your thoughts on Chicagoland? It is a good racetrack in terms of what it produces with this car.
Oh, it absolutely does. It is very fit for this next-gen car. 2 miles out on that circuit at Chicagoland. People have talked about should it be back on the NASCAR Cup Series schedule, but here it's going to be revised into our schedule here for the Mystic Racing League. But I think it will produce some excellent racing, a little bit of a mix. You know, those 2 mile tracks are really a nice mix between super speedway style racing, but also 1.5 mile racing. And it's really a beautiful blend of both. You'll have to stay in the draft, but you won't quite see quote unquote pack racing. And so I think these drivers, we'll take them somewhere that will absolutely suit them.
So as well, with the way things are shaping up, it's going to be fun to see what happens the rest of the way. Still have about 6 or 7 laps to work with. SB has just had an issue. In fact, he's put it in the pit road. That's because SB, with all the damage, looks like he's going to have to come down as you fall along the race leader.
Yeah, SB had another spin on that lap after missing into turn 1. Reggie Kime also went for a spin as well. So those 2 drivers that were right around 8th and 9th, which they are currently running 8th and 9th, still had a few moments more of their own. 71 at Janet go around Cop Snyder here. Cop Snyder down about 5 laps now. Again, he had that initial contact into the tire barriers on lap number 2, and that had to send him to the pit lane to get his faster pair.
SV is staying in the race. He just indicated he's coming up pit road after his stop. Still not even halfway in the race itself, as there's a 16, it looks like. Came down to get the faster pair taken on that car. Also got some fresh tires on it. Right now, he maintains 9th position now in a battle with Gill for that 9th position.
So Gill continuing to try to move up. We said he was pretty much solid in that top 10 because the next car back, it was earlier, it was Zukov, but now it's David Moyer, 1 minute and 40 seconds back. So Stephen Gill really here free to fight with a 16 of Aaron Espy. And Espy would definitely love to stay in 9th position here in his number 16 machine, but he will have to hold off that 01 of Stephen Gill, because of what we've known, Espy a little bit prone to mistakes here.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot here tonight. Nearly made another mistake right there. Some of the off-track situations. So, just trying to maintain as Barnes. He maintains his spot. Here's how big the margin is between first and third. 1 minute 25 seconds at the moment.
That is just, I mean, Janik is on a whole nother level.
Yeah, he's now pulled away after being within 6 seconds. Andrew Allen, he's now 17 seconds back. Barnes, I think you could say, pending any issues, comfortably going to be in that 3rd spot because Hautawa has fallen 2 seconds off the wing side per lap to what the 27's been doing.
Lots of different lines, lots of different things. All these drivers trying different things. You got to try different things right now if you want to have any thought of being able to get up to your next competitor. I think some of our shortest gaps right now are 2 seconds, and like you said, one of our longest gaps is over a minute up between the top 3. But the average, really, I mean, gap between 4th and 5th is 21 seconds. Gap between 3rd and 4th is 14 seconds, and the same for the gap between 5th and 6th. So really, right now, you're really hoping for the driver in front of you to make a mistake, because on raw pace, you just might not make any time up.
Indeed. Let's go over the radio. Moment. So as we continue on with the action here, it's going to be the matter of making sure how the traffic plays out. 5-lap warning. Just give it out to race control over the radio. Here's a look from Pollock. Riding on board. This is the 92 in 6th spot. Your first driver lap down.
Crazy to say that only the top 5 are the only drivers not a lap down. And Pollock, comparative to most of the rest of the field, has had a pretty good night. He's had, like many others, had a few off-track moments, but he has been very consistent. Again, once he got out of that battle pack, I think a lot of that pressure really spilled away and really has been able to keep his eyes out front, keep his mind focused on his shifts, on the entries, on his braking points, and he's really been able to put down pretty good lap times. He's been running about the 2:17 second bracket like a lot of the rest of the top 6.
Yes, indeed. Here's John. Looks like he's just having a grand old time. Just nice and mellow around this racetrack. Just trying to make sure not to have any issues. Clean and steady. Gets a good finish.
Ullman, again, been doing very great after his initial incident. He's running 7th, 7.9 seconds back from Alex Pollock. Wants to maybe break into the top 5, but that might be a little bit of a difficulty as Adam Holston, who's currently running in 5th, is over 25 seconds ahead. So again, those gaps and intervals between all of these drivers just so spread out far between each other. But Ullman looking good in his sim right there. Very well-lit room that he's in.
Yeah, those pocket lights really do bring a shiny to the light you can bring in this room.
Pretty much as bright as out on the track.
Brighter
He's
than the
simulating.
sun.
He's simulating real-world conditions.
Yes, indeed. By the way, race leader has put the lap into the top 5. Janik, a lot more comfortable under braking. Holston just lets him on go. That kind of showcases the strength of the 71 and the confidence with this car compared to what Holston's been able to do.
Now, I mean, once you find those braking points, as long as you stay focused, I'm not going to use the word easy, but as long as you're focused on those moments and you know that if I brake exactly from this point, I'm going to be exactly where I need to be on speed, doing that consistently over and over and over again, hitting your marks can be easier than it would be, you know, if you're just, oh, I might push it this time. I might try it here. We have that consistent point like Janik obviously does. You can just put in these very consistent lap times. I mean, he is still lapping in the 2:12 marks.
Hearing there's some pit stops coming up on the radio. We are starting to reach that window for where some of the drivers to pit. So we might see a pit party flurry up soon. These drivers are starting to reach, in some cases, 13 laps. Most are 10 laps into their stints. There's Moyer. He preferring to split this up into simpler matters. Just past halfway in the race. Like we'll have to come in one more time based on the math. That's going to be the interesting thing. Based on the math here, it's going to be interesting to see if a third stop gets factored into this strategy. We'll have to see.
Yeah, we haven't seen a driver make it any more than 15 laps. That was about when everyone pitted the last time by, and you can see why. You know, 15 laps in the race, or excuse me, 45 laps in the race. You break it into 2 stops, it's 15 per stint. So Moyer most likely going to have to make another stop here in this race in that 47 Sunny D Camaro.
Right now running 12th as things go on in the race. 20 laps to go in this one as we are down to under 2 laps to go in the stage. Jackson Hatala still holds on to the last spot on the lead lap. He had been looking good in terms of gaining a little bit. Now still back to losing time. Last time by, lost nearly a second to the 27. 14 seconds back. He's going to need some mistakes from Barnes to have a shot at that position with the way things are going. Moyer just made the pass on Zukov on the racetrack. Zukov having more issues to see him continue to fall down the pylon as there's the leader, put him 3 down.
Yeah, Zukov really not having the greatest night that he would want out in that 91 Jegs machine. He's been trying to power through though, and I very much commend him on staying in the fight. He stayed in it all night long. You see him pushing. Oh, he'll push off track there as well. Moyer is off track too.
Both of them having troubles. Everybody having some off track except for your race leader. They're both now 3 laps down, 2 laps off the nearest car. Things continue to circulate. Unfortunately, that type of race for them, hearing the 01 Stephen Gill jumped pit road this time by, as again, look at how things are going for Reggie Kai. One of the drivers crossed over from the NASCAR Heat platform. So far, it's road course run tonight. See him in 8th position.
Running halfway through the field, you saw had that big contact earlier on with Zukov into turn number 1. That put him definitely farther back. This is the 01 of Gill coming in this time. Again, he's been holding that top 10 as we'll get the white flag for stage number 2. Stephen Gill will take 4 tires and fuel.
Off and away. Looks like the 82 yet again having to spend several moments down the pit road. Janik Canera playoff point, just 3/4 of a racetrack away. 24 seconds, the margin up front. These drivers will still have 18 laps, the longest run of any of the stages, to close out the race. How things are looking. So Janik on his way to cruising to the stage victory here. He's been outright dominant all night here, Scott. There's no other way to put it.
Yeah, no, he really has. I mean, and it's been about that consistency. He has not put a foot wrong all day long. And that is exactly what he needed today. Andrew Allen, second best of the night, and I believe he had 1 or 2 mistakes between some of the drivers, but he has been the next best. But he has still been nowhere near Evan Janik in terms of just how he has been performing here tonight in that number 71. He's going to look to pick up the 2nd stage win of the night as he tries to carry on to get his 3rd win of the season.
Domination continues for the 71 machine. Outright quick from the onset. Now, just a few laps away from what may be the money stop, if not a fuel save situation. Evan Janik coming up to the green and white checkered to close out stage 2, this time by. Every lap's gone the way of car 71. End of stage 2, Evan Janik comes away with the sweep of the first 2 stages, does so by 25 seconds.
A huge gap between 1st and 2nd place. He'll pick up all of the points he can today. As of now, Andrew Allen here coming through the final corner, makes the run up the hill to claim those 2nd place stage points in stage number 2. So another great drive from him, but again, lots of laps remaining in this race. Still plenty of time for drivers to make mistakes.
Indeed. 2nd spot going to Allen. Then it's going to be a long way back to this car. Barnes and Hautawa are the last people on the lead lap. Already here in the completion of stage 2 being called. That's how big the margin is. Barnes, Hautawa, and then it's Holston amongst the top 5. Keep an eye on Barnes as he tries to finish out the run here. So far tonight, it's been about one thing: survival of the fittest. and surviving the laps around Road America. Christian Barnes survives his way to a top 3 in the stage, or he can just pit. Instead here, this might change one spot for the stages. Hold on a second. Will the 09 follow him in down pit road? Yes, he will. So no change in the order, but the fuel mileage only gets to 13. So a one-stopper to go likely here. If you break down the math for these drivers here, unless you massively save on the gas, all of a sudden it's gone.
Yeah, but these drivers deciding to come in this time by, they'll still pick up their points as they cross the stripe from the pit lane side of the wall, but they'll try to stretch out this fuel mileage all the way to the end. They'll have to make it 17 laps on this tank of gas, but I think it is definitely doable. We've seen, again, drivers take it about 15 laps or so 2 laps shouldn't be too much more.
So a pit party for the race leader as well. Off and away goes the 09 machine. Simple scheduled service, 15-second pit stops here. As now, these drivers are going to be minorly close on the fuel. Might be a splash and dash situation to close up the run for most of these drivers. Why don't we take a quick break if we can here, as stage 3 is underway. And as the 09 goes slippy slide to the grass, we'll go slippity slide into the commercial.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to tonight's coverage of the Mystic Racing League as we continue on with the 92-22 Designs 180 at Road America. Jackson Hatawa, we mentioned, went off track right as we were going to the break. Well, after we went to the break, he spun it again, crashed the car, and is now back down pit road. Also, Andrew Allen has now been down pit road with a demolished race car for the past minute or so, and he's got mandatory repairs. So Allen has also binned it after running so well all night.
Yeah, Hatawa just cooked it into the center of the corner, and he had to come back down. We're looking along here, watching Andrew Allen. He made, we believe, earlier on in the first stage, he made one mistake we didn't see when we were in the battle pack, but you can see here, we'll watch along to see his big mistake of the night. that has put him out of second position now.
It's going to be the run coming out right here. Slips on the marbles and into the wall.
Oh, yeah. And those marbles, they've been there all night. And so I'm surprised to see him just really push that exit. And you could see that was heavy contact for him in that number 96. And yeah, that absolutely required repairs. It's going to put him a lap down already. He's been in the box for almost over 2 minutes.
Until the race car from that situation. So take him out of the conversation likely here. He is back rolling, can tell you now, I believe, after his situation on the racetrack. Yes, he is. Now back in second. Is that right?
I think that's got to be a scoring mistake.
That can't be right, right?
No, I don't think so. I think might have a bit of a scoring issue going on here because it's put Andrew Allen back in second, but after spending 2 minutes in the pit lane, 2 minutes and 20 seconds, I know that Christian Barnes and at least Adam Holston would have all gotten by him.
Yeah, this is a question mark right now. We will see, as the info box says. I think that's all you can really see if this equalizes or not. Allen may have just got a lucky break if this goes the way it's looking here on the pylon. Yeah, it looks like it's sorted to him somehow just being in front of Barnes on the track. Unbelievable.
Yeah, about 4 seconds ahead of Barnes, but both a minute and 50 seconds back from your leader of Evan Janik. So not sure if it might have been because he was so far ahead of most of the field after they took their pit stops, or however it worked out. You know, iRacing has its timing, and this is what we'll go with.
Adam Holston, by the way, is also within good distance now in the battle for third. He has quietly been running decent lap times within a couple tenths of what Barnes has put up. Holston, if Barnes slips up, may be able to sneak away a podium here.
It'd be extremely ideal for Adam Holston. 2 wins on the season for him as well, but has had a bit of a lackluster run in the past couple of races.
Well, that's going to explain how he gained so much time. Pit stop. Well, take him out of the conversation, but you know what that might mean? Look at the mark to go. He may be borderline on getting this done without any more pit stops.
Yeah, stretched that last stint quite a while for the number 8. And so he pitted a little bit later than everyone else the last time by. And so he'll come in this time. Again, Adam Holston was our last to come into the pits after the completion of stage number 1. So he is the last to come in during stage number 2.
No issues on his pit service. Our 15-second pit stop. So they continue on here. Let's take a look at your race leader again. At the rate things are going, there's a good chance if anything happens here with the rest of your lead lappers, this may be one of the first times you see this. Your leader in the overall standings coming in may potentially lap the field if he keeps up this pace and keeps it up to the very end of the rate things are going.
It's definitely possible. I mean, he's got to gain only about 20 seconds to be able to do it. But again, at the rate that everybody has been running, that's pretty possible here with under 14 laps remaining. It'd be such an impressive feat, but I can't say we're very much surprised as to how we've seen the first 2/3 of this race go.
Indeed. Much you can really say outside of what a drive for the 71 machine this entire night. You got to feel the fatigue definitely settling in, though. No cautions to be able to take a breather on a road course here tonight. That was a change done in the past week or two. And at this point, it's been smooth driving the entire night from up front. But you have to wonder if there's anything that's going to break in terms of that fatigue level.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's been solid all night. But again, they're just one moment of mental unfocus, and you could have something go wrong. Jared Kopsnyder here running in 13th position in his number 82, just putting laps in at this point, 5 laps until his next competitor, 47 of David Moyer. So he's going to let Adam Holson by, who is currently running 4th, 1 lap down in comparison to your leader. Kopsnyder just trying to run it to the end.
Kopsnyder just trying to survive 9 laps down the nearest car, 5 laps up the road. He's had some disastrous times. Has been in the pit lane for as long as 8 minutes. This race here tonight. He's trying not to get involved in any more incidents, so you can really say at the moment. So let me ask you this at this point. Who do you think is your championship favorite after seeing a good sample size now? Who do you think by the time we get to the fall will be your threat for the championship and why?
Yeah, I think I'm going to take the obvious pick. I'm going to go with Evan Janik. Again, he had a slow start to the first part of the season when we went to the super speedways and we were really getting into the season. Had a little bit of inconsistency there, but really ever since COTA, after the first few races of the season, he really just found his way. And he has been so consistent in terms of his finishes ever since then back in February. I really think if he keeps up a pace like this, he is absolutely a championship favorite to run away with it at the top of the standings. But again, there are drivers pretty well close to him in the standings that you saw earlier that are near. Adam Holston has been very consistent all season long in that number 8. He's tied with Janik right now for 2 wins in the season. Again, Janik looking to change that here today, but Holston has looked pretty darn good all season as well. So if Janik ever has a moment in the season where maybe he loses confidence or starts losing some of those consistent finishes around, expect Adam Holston to be close and right behind.
Who do you think is going to need to step it up the most over the next few months to be able to get right where they need to be performance-wise for the championship?
Christian Barnes. Christian Barnes is an excellent driver. He's done well in that 27 this season, but unlike Janik and Holston, he has been a bit more inconsistent throughout some of our disciplines. I think we've seen him best on super speedways, but at the 2 road courses that we've gone to and the rest of the mile and a half we've been in and at and around, we've seen Barnes, you know, he's finished in the top 5, but he's also DNF'd, and some of it of his own fault, some of it getting involved in others' incidents, but nonetheless, he's going to have to find some good finishes. He's going to have to find a win to be able to come up and compete with your current championship leaders. I would say the same about some like John Ullman. John Ullman's sitting 6th in the standings right now, and he's done pretty good too. But again, he's going to have to step up that game if he wants to be within the title fight.
It's going to be important for a lot of these drivers to have some self-improvement as this championship progresses. Take a look at SP. How he's running right now. He's stabilized, by the way, Scott, in 8th position. After looking very solid to start, had that very rough middle, and now seems to have just calmed down to finish out this run. He's the last driver, 1 lap down.
Yeah, he's been running 2:19s, like you said. He's been more conservative, and we look along here with Christian Barnes. He's fallen back about 19 seconds from Andrew Allen, but remember when Andrew Allen came back, he was only 4 seconds back, so Andrew Allen has really been putting in great lap time.
Still though, it's going to be important to see what happens to checkered Barnes. You just seen moments ago, Scott, falling a lap down. And it comes to question, will Janik indeed lap the field? That's not an easy question because last time by, Janik was dead even with Allen on pace. It might be just the two cars on the lead lap with the way things shake up here.
Yeah, I think Andrew Allen was going to be the only driver that was going to give Evan Janik any problems all day long. At first, we thought it might be for the battle for the lead, but it might be for this notion of trying to lap the field. Allen might be that one driver that keeps him from doing it. As we've seen cloud cover here come out recently over the last 2 laps. This is that cloudy portion of the race that you spoke about, Justin. So the track will be cooling down a little bit and allows for some more grip.
Out the temperatures, as you see there, down 86. They are dipping dramatically. Some time already past 3 o'clock as time goes on here. So, going to get only a bit cooler from here if the shade continues to cover the racetrack like the way it is. And that's the thing, it's going to be an average around the racetrack. That temperature usually around the start and finish line for the pit lane. What heard over the years from drivers and from team members. So, it's still going to vary around the racetrack, but the temperature does shuffle a little bit around the circuit. The more the shade collectively hazes over the circuit.
Allen hot on the brakes into turn number 1. Runs down the hill, turn number 2 as we look on with Hautala and then Alex Pollock. They are running 5th and 6th right now, and Pollock looks like he might have had a bit of a moment. 3.8 seconds back from the 09 of Hautala. This is that 92 of Alex Pollock. And yeah, he was running ahead of Hautala here, but look down, has a bit of an issue. Let's see where it is. Oh yeah, sends it way wide. He's gonna lock up the front tires, and that's what allowed Hautala to get on through.
That changes things up on the 5th position as we're on that lockup. Still 10 more laps to go. If you do the math, that's still about 20 more minutes of racing for the lap total. Anything can still happen over the course of that time on the circuit here. Zukov has just ducked down to pit road for what is likely going to be the final stop. What's been a tumultuous day for the 91 machine.
Yeah, and he's got a black flag. Not sure what for, if this was by admin or if this was something from iRacing. But he does have a black flag right now. We'll see if it's anything for certain. But he was required to come into the pit lane. And so he'll come in this time to make one final stop. Now he was 15 laps. It was about time for him to come in anyway. So, perfect timing.
So he'll sit in the box for a while. Wonder what Andrew Allen's thinking at this point with the way things have closed out here tonight. Looked to be potentially in the conversation for the lead for a little while. Had a major situation with the crash. Still held on the second. Now has a 31-second buffer over Barnes to hold on to second at least.
Yeah, I just don't know. I still don't know how he was able to hold on to second after spending 2 minutes in the pit lane. But a lucky break for that 96. And you got to say, it would be a shame if he didn't finish second today because he is absolutely deserving of that second place. He has been really the middle bookend between Evan Janik and the rest of this field because he's been at times as fast as Janik, but he hasn't quite been as consistent, but he's always been faster than pretty much every other driver in this field, always continually about 6 or so seconds faster lap times than most of the field besides Jackson Hautala.
Just had an issue with John Ullman, by the way. He just about ran over the back of the 82. You know why? Because Copsnyder tried to let him go with heavy braking, sending him wide in the Moraine sweep, heading to turn 5 to avoid absolutely collecting the 82 under braking. 82 says go ahead, and around goes Ullman behind the Art Saddles parked cars.
Yeah, you can see it there. 82 tries to get out of the way, but Ullman was already on the brakes, locked it up a little bit, and that sent him to the left. We'll get another look at the shot here, but yeah, Copsnyder was in the gravel already, and so Ullman had to slam on the brakes, not expecting Copsnyder to slow up that quickly, and luckily, Ullman was able to keep it straight.
Extremely lucky at that point to not lose too much time there. He's still, the last running, 1 lap down in 7th spot. 16 seconds away from the next spot. Birthday Boy, meanwhile, still runs. Time, you know, where we can head towards. The battle for 5th is starting to get interesting. Pollock is behind Jackson Hatala. Right now it's 1.1 seconds, the distance between the two cars. Jackson looking to try and secure a top 5 after he had a big crash after his pit stop to start stage 3.
Yeah, this battle has gone back and forth for quite a while in the second half of this race. It all started when Hautala had that big mistake, but then earlier we noticed that Pollock went off as well, gave the spot right back to Hautala. Now, purely right now, it's looking like Pollock has the speed on pace. Last lap by a 2:17. Meanwhile, Jackson Hautala was a 2:20. So 3 seconds gained that last time by. Can Alex Pollock keep up this pace and break into the top 5?
Hautala nearly went wide of the carousel. That could have been disastrous for him. That's a bad spot to crash, to say the very least. Not a lot of tire barrier to soften the blow. But now, he's got Pollock going wide. Oh, Pollock just mowed the grass in the backdrop. Still held on to the grip, kept his foot in it.
We saw that same thing earlier on from Rayshon Winkfield when he was still in that session. You can see his tire tracks there, and yeah, 92 just sitting it wide, and you know, there's no track limits here really today in terms of iRacing's not going to penalize you, so might as well keep your foot in it, and Pollock was able to keep it straight.
So, just trying to hold on. Now that gap, because they're on track, 2.6 seconds. Right now the field has about 8 laps to go to close out the night here from Road America. Now, for reference, not going to be able to get up to someone like Holston, unless Holston has a big off track. But the margin right now, he is off and away for the top 5 comfortably here. Last time by, 2:15.7, Pollock's 2:17.4.
Gap between them, now 3.4 seconds. This is Adam Holston running in 4th, and yeah, he's really in a league of his own right now. He's about 19 seconds back from 3rd place Christian Barnes and 36 seconds ahead from the 09 of Hautala. So he's really out in no man's land right now, just trying to put down the 7 more good laps to get to the end of this race. Locks it up there into turn number 11. Almost went off track there, but able to keep it on.
And the pit stop cycle is opening for some of the drivers to come down for service. Close out the races. John Ullman just completed his service. Remember, a couple of these drivers are in a situation, Scott, where they're going to have to top off. Holston is in a spot possibly where he may not. He is a lap down. That's going to benefit him on the fuel mileage here. And that means if that's going to be the case, he could take away a podium.
Yeah, he absolutely could pass up Christian Barnes in the time it would take to make a pit stop. I don't think there'd be enough time for him to get up to Andrew Allen, even with him making a pit stop. But with Christian Barnes, if he makes this stop and Holston is able to stay out, he will absolutely jump Barnes for that final third spot on the podium.
Impressive if this ends up being the case here. Holston's been trying to game plan this all race. Gill's already in for his service, mind you. Barnes, 10 laps into the run, 9 for Allen, 10 for Janik, 9 for Hautala, as things go on to close out the runs. By the way, for those wondering what's going on in that battle for fifth, take Pollock out of the conversation. He just had an error off track to throw his hat out of the ring. Coming out of turn 3. Let's take a look.
Oh yeah, another loss of time. Puts him back now 5.8 seconds back from Hautala. So those continued mistakes here from the 92 of Pollock might have compromised his decision, or opportunity to get into that top 5, like you said.
Great start to the season for FSR, you can say, when it comes to the team side of things, by the way. When it comes to the FSR machines, Janik, amongst that group that's been outright dominant today. Holston, Pollock, and Opsteiner are a part of that grouping too. When it comes to this season here, they were one of the few teams grouped together to start the campaign. They've shown their unity and strength.
Yeah, they've really kept it the same all season long. And Janik has done such a great job, I'd say, leading the charge in most all aspects. The 71 Amsoil car looking very good. That paint scheme has always looked good for him. He settled on it, and it has looked so good. We haven't seen it much today because, well, he's been out on his own.
Yeah, ready to close out the run. As long as he doesn't have any crashes with traffic or anything along those lines. He's coming up to 5 laps to go on the race. Still an hour, 10 minutes or so. Do the math. And keep in mind, we have people coming in. The 09 is in for a scheduled stop, and it's early.
It is early. Must have decided that he can't make it. Might as well bolt on some fresh shoes, some fresh boots, and gain a little bit of time, more time out there on track. Let's see if anyone else follows Hautala in to maybe break this one in half all the way to the end. Hautala there, 10 laps on that set of tires. So surprised not to see him try to go all the way. You know, we've seen drivers make it 15, so I'm just surprised he didn't try to stretch it one more lap. Come out right here in front of leader Janik. He'll have to split him. Janik will go through the middle.
Gill forced to go in the gravel trap to avoid making contact in that situation. That was a little bit scary, and the leader's off. Janik's off. Take a look at what sparked that, but your race leader's first major mistake all day will not cost him the lead, obviously, but this was close.
Oh my goodness, yeah, you can see Hautala there. Oh my gosh. Gill was able to get off track here, but let's continue watching. Hautala right behind, giving a little bit of pressure, but again, he's 2 laps down at this point after the pit stop. But it looks like, yeah, the 71 just pushes it into turn number 2, locks it up, sends it into the gravel. He loses about 8 seconds because of that mistake, but again, he's a minute and 40 ahead of second place Andrew Allen.
Wild moment in this race. So we keep going here. Less than 5 laps to go, and he'll have to get around Gill again. And
Gill,
yet again,
send him
Gill,
by.
yeah, just goes in the sand again.
Yeah, he came over the radio and said go on by. He really wanted to make sure he was really out of the way, kicking more and more gravel up into the corner before the carousel. Oh, and Janik pushes a little bit wide again, keeps his foot in it. So maybe a little bit of a unsettled moment for Janik here.
Has to calm things down here. Still got a minute and 40-second advantage up in front. Coming up 4 laps to go, and he is reaching traffic that's kicked up more gravel. Jackson Atawa has just had some issues in that sector of the racetrack. Now, just trying to make sure the car stays in one piece. That's got to be the mindset. Do not wreck the car. Allen is in for scheduled service, so this will put the entire field a lap down here.
Wow. That should leave. Janik should have to make one more pit stop. Is Janik's going to lock it up again? Janik is going to lock it up yet again into turn 1.
Another mistake for your race leader. After looking mistake-free most of the night, the mistakes are starting to pile and snowball now. It's going to become the major question. Can he prevent himself from having any more problems? He cannot afford a crash. Let's put it that way.
He could not. A crash would send him into the pit lane. He still does have his fast repair, of course, but you could see it. This is not the Evan Janik that we have seen all race long. 3 mistakes within 2 laps and pushes it a little wide into turn 3 right there. It's allowed Andrew Allen to be right here behind it, but again, Allen is 1 lap behind. This will not be a battle for the lead at the current moment.
1 lap difference indeed. So, Janik saying he is pitting this time by. Should be a simple top off. Barnes at 13 as well. Holston, Pollock, and Kime are all at 10 lap distances on their fuel mileage. All he has to do is keep it smooth.
Gotta think that they'll try to stay out. Look, if Pollock stays out as well and tries to get at the end, he will jump Jackson Hautala and take that final spot within the top 5. And if Barnes is gonna have to come in. You know, and Evan Janik's coming in this time. Barnes is on the exact same strategy as Janik. So if Holston is able to stay out, which I imagine he probably will be able to, he'll jump Barnes.
Will that live up to the expectation? There goes the 71. Pit lane this time. Jackson Atawa also come down for his service. That'll hold up the race leader on the very safe pit entry. So now into the lane to close out their runs here. Coming around, 3 laps to go.
And interesting that Hautala's in again. He was only on a 2-lap stint before he has come in this time. So yeah, he's coming into the box, so he's not, doesn't look like he might be serving any penalty. So that's interesting to see him and Andrew Allen here out on track. He's already made his final pit stop. He's closing in slowly on Janik, but it is nowhere near going to be enough. Evan Janik going to come out of the pit lane this time. And once he gets up to speed, he'll be about 1 minute and 30 seconds ahead of your second place car. So through those incidents that we saw earlier, right before the initial pit stop for Janik, he made about 20 seconds worth of errors.
Tawa has indeed parked it for the night. He is done.
Wow.
09 electing not to finish the race for whatever reason. And now Janik is ready to close up this one. 1 minute and 32 seconds. The margin for the race lead, 2.5 laps to go here from Road America.
Janik, he has put a foot wrong tonight here as of recent, but everything in the first 2/3 of this race has built him such a gargantuan lead that it truly hasn't mattered. He now has to truly coast to the finish with those 2.5 laps remaining for his 71 Camaro. He's right behind the 16 of Aaron Espy, and if he'd pass Espy, he'd put Espy 2 laps down as Espy is running 7th.
see what happens with this traffic. As we make it easy, should. Now coming up to 2 laps to go. Smooth to the gears. The 71 machine should make the pass down the front straightaway, looks like, by the time they get up the back end of SB, if not in the last corner. Looks like it's going to be last corner. SB allows the space to open up. No issue on the pass. Two laps to go here from Road America as Janik looks to finish it out.
Down into turn 1, right on his braking marker. He's only missed it twice. And still such a great night for him. Oh, and he's gonna miss it a little bit in turn 2. He's barely gonna get the grass. So really, the only errors we've seen from him was in turns 1 and 2. I think I might have jinxed him there, Justin.
Will there actually be a jinx here? We've seen it happen a couple times here tonight. It says 1 lap car to deal with up the road, and then it's clean sailing the rest of the way. Adam Holston could not stretch it. He is in. Adam Holston is in. Barnes made it further than he did.
So what we thought might be a switch for the podium is going to remain the same. Christian Barnes able to make it most likely all the way to the end, but even if he can't, he still has time to top off with some fuel and finish in the 3rd and final spot on the podium. Andrew Allen continues to run. He's trying to get to this last to 2nd lap as Janik is again so far and away. I really wonder if Andrew Allen hadn't had his big mistake, how close would he be to Evan Janik at this point?
Yeah, those mistakes definitely cost him at least a good minute or so on the margin. But now, Janik coming around for the white flank, this time by Reggie Kime. Is that last lap car he'll have to handle to finish out this race. That again is a 6th place car. White flag is out. Final time around from Road America. But Janik just needs to keep it on the track. Reggie Kime about 10 car lengths up the road. Janik cradles the curbing. That got scary.
This has been one of his points. The only times we've seen mistakes from him, clean through turn number 2, like we've seen all the rest of tonight. Again, he just has to coast it home here on this final lap. And I bet you Janik might be one of the only drivers that would be happy to see Road America yet again. Everyone else here would probably never want to come back.
That was a massive sin to be able to clear by lap traffic. But he's going to be safe for the rest of the way, pending what happens for one more driver up the track. Looking on board, this is from your race leader.
Into the carousel. A spot that has been troublesome for most drivers here tonight, but Janik has handled it with ease. Carries so much speed down towards the back half of the course. Gill gonna move on over, let the leader through as he goes down the back straightaway one final time.
One more corner complex to go for the race leader. Evan Janik, so far this season, has looked stellar. 2 wins coming into tonight. 2 poles. He adds to both those tallies by the end of the night. for the third time this season. It's the 71 of Evan Janik for 5-Star Racing. Will come out to take the checker flag and win in the MRL.
Great job in the 92-22 180 here from Road America for Evan Janik. Andrew Allen going to look to come home in second. Has been the second place car all night long, and rightfully so. He's been putting in excellent lap times. The only thing that kept him back was a couple of mistakes. We wondered if that hadn't happened, could he have fought with Evan Janik for this race lead? It's done and dusted for him now.
Still going to be a ways away until the rest of the drivers cross the stripe here. Andrew Allen just needs to finish up second. No issues. Holston 1 lap down. He's behind Barnes by 25 seconds. Good survival from the 96 tonight, even with the crash. The margin was so big after his crash. He still held on to P2, even with the tow factored in. That's how good his drive was. Secure a podium position.
Well, we'll get to talk to him. Definitely want to ask him about that moment and truly what happened to him. Comes out of the final corner, going to make the run up the hill to officially cross for the checkered. Everyone else is already 1 lap down, so they'll have already come across the stripe for the last time.
Looks like Christian Barnes, he stretched it an extra lap. He is out of fuel. And I believe he's already may have taken the stripe here.
Yeah, everyone, Andrew Allen and Janik, the only two that had to come around. Everyone else was a lap down, so they took the white flag, their checkered flag 1 lap prior. So Barnes got just enough of everything he needed.
So celebration time for one driver though. 71 of Janik. Get to burn it on down and celebrate a race win as he goes up the hillside to burn it on down. Fighting with the elevation here, Scott.
Yeah, that run, it's so important. You're able all night long, we saw keeping that momentum out of the final corner to run about a 90-foot elevation change up towards the stripe. And Janik kind of burn it down all the way from the hill to the flag.
Just trying to put some lay down thick rubber across this racetrack. Take a quick break. More coverage coming up. You're watching Boeing TV as Janik makes the motor go boom.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Drop it.
Welcome back to tonight's coverage of the 92-22 Designs 180 here for the Mystic Racing League and its Cup Series from iRacing's Virtual Road America. Race results look like this. Evan Janik takes the win by a whopping minute and 35 seconds. Christian Barnes rounds at the top 3. Adam Holston ends up having to come down to pit road, finishing 4th. Alex Pollock in the 5th position. Kime and SP at 6th and 7th. Ullman in 8th. Stephen Gillen, 9th, and Alan Zukov rounds out your top 10, Scott.
David Moyer finishes right outside of it in 11th. 12th will be the 09 of Hautala. Left the race with just 4 laps remaining. Cobb Snyder had that early incident. He finishes 13th, and then it's 14th through 17th. Ronnie Foster, Rayshawn Winkfield, Caleb Hunt, and Derek Dewitt.
That's all talked about with the running order here tonight in this one. We do have a couple drivers standing by to talk about their days. Let's start off with the race winner tonight. Evan Janik putting on a dominating performance. Evan, you now have the series leading 3rd win of the season. What's going through your mind after such a run tonight?
Glad it's over. I don't think anybody in the field today was happy at all. This race, it was tough. A lot of people were just complaining on the radio, and I was one of them. Really can't think of anything other than glad it's over.
Yeah, I was about to say, we've seen very minimal mistakes from you for most of this race until towards the end. What was happening as you started having some major off tracks, including one that sent you way off into the sand?
The one that was way off into the sand, I race via our headset, and when it gets to low battery, it sends up a message, and it covers my display. So thankfully, it happened in turn 2, not at the end of the long straightaway, because I don't think I would have been able to recover from that. But yeah, really just fatigue, and I'm not feeling well. I don't know what's going on, but it's just fatigue. I think everybody suffered from that today.
So with that being said, your thoughts on the next race on the schedule, Chicagoland, after the switch over from Eldora is the next race. Your thoughts?
Glad it's not Eldora. Trucks, it's fine. The Mystic Racing League is going to be racing the Eldora trucks Thursday. But we tested, and it was the Cup stuff was just not good at Eldora. So glad it's Chicagoland. Wish it was back on the real schedule. Really looking forward to it.
Any shout out you'd like to give here tonight?
Thank you to Super Oil Pros for their support here and in real life. Thank you to my team, 5 Star Racing. And thank you to you guys for putting on this broadcast.
Congratulations to the win here tonight, Evan.
Thank you.
Evan Janik comes away with the race win tonight. 2nd spot goes the way of Andrew Allen. He is with Scott.
Yeah, Andrew, obviously, you were putting on excellent lap times here tonight. Only a couple of mistakes kept you from fighting with the race winner of Evan Janik. One of the biggest of them all, that moment heading into the carousel, you got onto the gravel and smashed into the left-hand retaining wall. Talk to me about making that mistake and being able to recover from it and still finish 2nd.
It was mainly the cold tires on the loose gravel that was in the middle of the road. Bad timing for me to hit the gas as hard as I did. Should have eased into it a little bit better, but somehow, some way, I still came out of the pits in 2nd. I was shocked. My teammate was shocked. So I just kind of went with it and pushed to the end.
Did you ever think, I mean, we watched it all race long, and pretty much there were only a few inconsistent laps, but you were lapping within a second of Evan Janik pretty much every lap. Was there a portion that you believed that you were going to be up there fighting with him, or what was going through your mind throughout the race and putting down those good lap times?
After the first pit stop, I gained a few seconds on him there, so I was like, okay, maybe I do have a shot here. So I started pushing harder and harder, but it got to the point where I was pushing so hard that I was making too many mistakes, fighting off an injury right now, so it was painful, and but it was worth it.
Well, you come home with 2nd place. Definitely not bad at all today. bump you up a few more points within the overall championship standings. Before we let you go tonight, anyone you'd like to thank?
Teammates Jackson, Joshua, and Isaac. Fortunately, 2 of them couldn't be here tonight, and my wife. So that's about it.
Well, we appreciate you, Andrew. Congratulations on second tonight.
Thanks.
Alan finishes second, and we go to our third driver, our final on the podium, Christian Barnes with Justin.
Christian Barnes coming away in the third spot tonight. Never saw it a run for you in this one. Talk to us, what was it like in the fuel mileage game? You stretched it 16 laps to finish this one out here, Christian.
Yeah, I probably still could have finished third without saving. I could have, I think I had a pretty decent gap ahead of Adam for fourth. For some reason, I just thought, I wanted to do something different because I knew they were only going to do 2 stops. So I was like, why don't I try to do it? So I had to save a bunch of extra laps, but luckily, going a lap down, well, as much as I didn't want to, going a lap down is really what kept me from running out of fuel on the last lap.
Overall, what was going to your mind as this race went on tonight, as you spent your time on your own much of the time in terms of the finishing position?
Yeah, I knew Evan and Alan were gone. They were the class of the field, especially Evan. I mean, he's just in a league of his own, especially on the road course. I don't think I definitely didn't have anything for him. Third place, I mean, I think I was definitely the third best car. After the first pit stop, I made a dumb mistake. I just hit the gas too early, went into the wall, luckily didn't get any damage, and then I spun it again, going into the hard braking zone. So I think that was the biggest mistake I made the whole race, and luckily it didn't cost me too much.
Your thoughts on Chicagoland next week?
I think I'll do pretty good. I definitely wanted to do the dirt because I felt it was going to be a little bit of chaos and kind of interesting, but unfortunately we can't do that. But Chicagoland, I think I'll have a really good car there and hopefully can contend.
Once again, congratulations on the run here tonight, Christian. Anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Alex for the paint design, and I also want to thank Caleb for adding me to his team, Caleb Hunt Racing.
Congratulations once again on the podium.
Thank you very much.
Christian Barnes rounds out your top 3 here tonight. I'd like to thank him and the rest of the top 3 for taking the time to speak with us during post-race coverage here on Bowling TV. Chicagoland's up next, Scott, and that's going to be a fun time. We'll see what happens next week. Your thoughts on tonight?
Tonight, I think it was a race of attrition for pretty much everyone all throughout the field. You even heard it from your leader of Janik, but everyone was able to nurse everything on home and make it a good night. We go to Chicagoland, where I think we'll get some awesome stuff.
Once again, that race is going to start at approximately 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time, April the 25th. Be sure to tune in for some oval racing action from Chicagoland. On that note, it's time to say goodbye for tonight's action. For my co-announcer Scott, for producer DJ Line, for Whiplash Simcams, I'm Chelsea Prince saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your evening. You've been watching the 9222 Designs 180 at Road America. The Mystic Racing League sees Evan Janik pick up win number 3 in the Cup Series tonight from Road America.